Hello, welcome to Cinema Savvy, and welcome back to a brand new trailer reaction video. Man, it feels like a long, long time since I've said that phrase. I am Chris, joined with Dale. His actually second appearance on the channel, or third, technically, if you count our reaction video of The Dirt, and then our review on The Dirt, and then so this is your 3 times the charm on the channel. Once again, social media links if you just discovered us through this video. If you want to see more of our content as we bring it out, please do go to our Facebook link. That's /Cinema Savvy. On Twitter, it's @cinema_savvy, and exactly the same for Instagram, as Dale is pointing to the bottom right there. Wait, I just
found that so cool that it's there. I didn't even realize it's going to be there.
I need to. Oh my god, this is weird. I don't know. Whichever side he was pointing, there. All of our social media links, go to those right now. We're here today to talk about Joker final trailer. Now, this is going to be kind of. We hope you guys are going to like it. The new system for reaction videos. They will be on a live stream basis like this. It's just a good opportunity for you guys to come in. You can chat about the trailer. You can chat about the film itself, and it's just much quicker to get content out. So hopefully, I can bring more reaction videos out to you guys. This trailer went up earlier today. It was confirmed yesterday that it was going to go up, and we finally have it. It's probably one of my most, I don't want to say my most anticipated films of the year, but it's definitely one that I'm intrigued about. And I know that it's a film. Dale, you're the resident Batman /Joker /DC Universe fan that I know. And we've been talking about this thing for quite a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, it's one of them that I'm like you, kind of like I'm anticipating. I'm on the fence of it's going to be one of those where I think it's either going to be amazing or it's just going to be like, you know what I mean? You don't know what to know. It's unexpected what it's going to be, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest, and actually Brinsley mentioned this as well in an earlier comment, which I'm going to bring up right now. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting used to this whole StreamYard thing. Brinsley wrote, getting some Taxi Driver vibes from this trailer. So he's already seen the trailer. We're about to watch it right now. Neither of us have seen the trailer, so you're going to be getting our live reaction to it very, very shortly. The director himself, Todd Phillips, has mentioned that Taxi Driver is a big inspiration for this movie. A few of Scorsese's films, actually. Taxi Driver's been mentioned, Raging Bull, and The King of Comedy. Even down to the fact that Robert De Niro is actually in this movie, and his character that he's playing in Joker is meant to be a homage to the character that he played in The King of Comedy. Also a slightly unironic title when you get to the Joker as a character, certainly as he's framed in this one. I'm really looking forward to this film. The trailers have definitely got my attention from the first one. I didn't do a reaction to that one, but I think we should just get into the trailer right now. Now, it's going to be slightly different. You're going to see the trailer on screen still, but the audio is going to pick up through my mic. Hopefully, it's not too distracting, and hopefully you're going to be able to hear us, but I may have to mess around with the volume as we go through it. So I need to set this up very quickly. So I'm going to pass over to Dale to stall for time.
You know what? As much as I'm looking forward to this, as I say, it's one of them that's I don't actually know how it's going to be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm kind of scared. Like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of a bit like, let's see how this goes, because I'm very like Mark Hamill Joker, very, you know what I mean? And I know that's not what we're getting. So I wonder how I'm going to feel about it. Like, but you know, it's, you know, I see big things. I hope big things, because it's different, and that's always a good sign, really, when you think about it, because if it's different, it has the room to be amazing.
Exactly. So we're about to watch it right now. You're going to be watching it through my live stream, which we'll see how that goes. Guys, if you continue to comment and just let us know if the audio is a-okay during this trailer. So I'm going to be full screening it now, and we're going to be watching it right now. So here we go.
You please stop bothering my kid? Sorry. Arthur, I have some bad news for you.
That's really creepy.
This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Its physicality reminds me of Christian Bale in The Machinist.
Check out this guy. When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now. You can say that again, pal.
I've already got a very good opinion on what this is going to be like.
Yeah. I gotta say as well, I absolutely love the look of the suit and the face.
See, it's very serial killery though, which isn't a bad thing.
But I do. People are starting to notice. You think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Oh, I love how he's just getting beat on in every single trailer.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's one of them though. Like every time you see a Joker beat on, he's kind of like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah. When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Wow. I swear we've used that font before.
Yeah, I use it in school all the time.
Wow, okay. So I can close that off now, I think, and hopefully, how did that go on the stream, guys? Please do let us know how that went over. This is kind of, although the series is back, this is kind of an experiment, and I'm going to be working out the kinks as we go on from this. Would you like to start on what you thought of it on the new trailer?
See, I mean, I think this movie's going to end up being one of those, like I've always said, like I've even said to you before, the whole how it'd be amazing if we got a kind of like horror Batman movie or something like that. And I think this is going to be I don't know how in-depth horror kind of thing. I'm not saying it's going to be a very detailed, gory horror, but what I mean is I think this is going to be a quite horror style Joker, if you get what I'm saying. It's a it's a very sort of like, it's not your classic, this is the Joker. Like I personally don't see this as the actual, do you get what I'm saying? I don't think this is going to be the actual Joker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I view this film as, and kind of what I hope it turns out is, because it'll be quite a ballsy thing for DC to do if that's the case. This isn't going to be a straight like adaptation depiction of what we know as the Joker. I will say that there are some Killing Joke vibes in there, a little bit like the struggling comedian. He wants to do stand up. He's kind of fallen on hard times. He's not recognized. He's kind of, living like, he's either unemployed or he's got like really crummy work or something like that. That's very Killing Joke. We also get the TV show appearance as well, which has been bigged up a lot more in this trailer. And if I'm remembering correctly, in The Dark Knight Returns, the Joker does go on a TV show and he gasses the entire audience.
Yeah, I literally, when I was watching this, that's what I thought of. Is when he started talking, what I straight away thought of was Dark Knight Returns, that kind of Joker, because he introduced me as Joker, and the way that happened, I thought it's very that kind of Joker, because in Dark Knight Returns, he was literally just like a mental patient. He was like a, obviously he was that mental patient that people study him, and then the doctors kind of look at him and go, he's not as bad as you think, and blah, blah, blah. He came across as that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do like, and that Joker was very different. So when I saw, when I read The Dark Knight Returns, it was very like, it was a bit different. It was the same sort of Joker, but it was a very realistic sort of like, okay, he's a mental patient. You could kind of like, this guy could be real, and this is what this guy is. He's someone that you go, this guy could be real, and I'm looking forward to that. I think seeing how he became the Joker, because obviously when you get the comic book thing of like, he fell into like chemical waste, and he, his face went white and all that stuff. It was like, there's some unrealistic stuff about it, some comic book kind of style, but I think this is going to be more of a realistic adaptation of him. So it's not going to be the Joker that we know, but I think it's just going to be a very realistic, like, think about the Dark Knight series and how that was a realistic Batman universe. I think this is going to be a realistic Joker representation.
But it still feels somewhat kind of heightened, and I don't know if that's the choice of sets or the cinematography in it itself, but it still does feel very comic booky, although I completely agree, although we're not going to get like the toxic waste or anything like that, or the Red Hood and you know, things like that, which is we now view as the Joker's origin story for the most part. I'm getting quite American Psycho vibes from this film as well, in that you have that whole argument and critique at the end of the film where you can argue that it's the environment that he's in. The environment that he's in is just as bad as what he essentially becomes himself. In American Psycho, you have the kind of 80s yuppie lifestyle and how everyone's very disconnected and very selfish and image focused, and you know, you lose sense of humanity in that, and then that escalates with Christian Bale's character in that film. I'm kind of
I was
with this
I
as
was
well.
thinking that.
How, you know, you have this, you know, he does strike me as kind of a bizarre guy, even in trailer one. Like, we know that his mother's sick, but how it was framed and some of the shot choices where he's like bathing her and like laughing and dancing with her, there was kind of like an Oedipus complex going on, I thought. With
Yeah,
that,
like exactly, like, you know, when you get like I've never thought I'd be comparing the Joker to this, but like, you know, when you see like Human Centipede 2 or something, where he has this weird, like, he'll yeah, what's it called, when he like kills his mom, sits at the table with her and he eats dinner with her and stuff, and he does that sort of like, he's in a different world. The world's around him, but he's somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing where he's in his own world. And the American Psycho thing, I thought of that straight away, and how like you're left in American Psycho with wondering, is all this in his head and all that stuff? And this is kind of the same thing where you're looking at him, he's slowly developing his own world. I do think we'll get some of that where you slowly see him start to develop his own world, and everything is completely like he's not in this world.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's going to be the argument of society crafting this Joker personality. And I do think he is going to be a personality. We see that on the TV show at the end. This almost rags to riches kind of story where he's always wanted to be a comedian. And he ultimately does become that, but not through the conventional sense, and does become the crown prince of crime. And maybe by the end of this film, he's adored by the people. Maybe they're going to go with that angle. We see a lot of people. We see the train sequence where a lot of people are wearing clown masks. We see like this band of people. It looks like they're trying to break into the town hall or the police station or something like that, sort of charging the gates. It almost strikes me as a kind of V for Vendetta style thing they're going for, where you have this personality of V, and then by the end of the movie, everyone becomes V. Will everyone, in a way, sort of tap into that crazy mentality of life and society and almost become Joker-like themselves? I don't know, but I think that, as we've said, this isn't going to be your straight depiction of the Joker character. This is going to be an interpretation of that personality, that idea of the Joker, and they're going to take it in its own direction. And I'm all for that. This is the one thing with you know, with Batman, the DC universe and everything like that. I'm with it through to the end. I'm fascinated by all these different interpretations, and you can chart the history of the character from all the live action personalities.
That's the great thing about Batman. Like, obviously they have their own adaptations, as you say. Like, you get the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns, in The Dark Knight, they're very different. You get the Joker in, you know, the Arkham universe. Like, they are all very different from each other, and that's what makes it amazing. But the thing is, this one is very different. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very like different way to go, but it's kind of like, it's like the DC universe at the moment is not, like, movie wise, has not been the best, and they're going on, you know, obviously trying to make, oh, let's do an adaptation of this, let's just do this. But this is a very, let's kind of, not extremely loosely, but quite kind of loosely base it on the Joker, and let's make our own thing. Like, they go in their own way. Like, I compare it to Disney when they're doing the live action movies. When they do it, I think, you know, they were all right, but when I saw like live action Beauty and the Beast, I was not a fan. Live action Cinderella was okay. You know what I mean? Those adaptations where they're trying to be what the cartoon was, be what the original story was, were okay. But when you took something like Christopher Robin, which I thought was fantastic, and they took that and they kind of loosely based it on that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because they didn't go, let's make a straight adaptation. It was just, let's use the characters, let's do this, let's go our own way. It was better, so much better.
Yeah, and as Brinsley says as well, I'm going to bring his comment up now. And I completely agree with this. It doesn't really need to be a Joker movie. It could just be about a guy slowly going insane.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that works better as well, because we like seeing. Sorry, but we like seeing that, in the sense of, we like to see well, say we like seeing people go insane, but you know what I mean? We like to see, you know, a movie about someone go insane rather than just let's see a movie about the Joker. It's like, let's see someone slowly go insane like the Joker did. Let's make it a DC thing. Because also you got to think about it, if it's what do people love? People love the Joker, that's cool. We like movies or something, or seeing someone go insane, let's put them together, let's make our own thing rather than let's make this. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and you know, there's even been Oscar talks for this movie. Lord knows I've come down like thunder on the DC cinematic universe, but I do think it's a really, like, we're seeing Marvel, you know, they're continuing their next phase, you know, up to 2021 or whenever it is. They've got their Disney Plus streaming service coming out with all of these wealth of TV shows out there. Yeah, I know you're not the biggest Marvel fan. That to me is, it's going to break at some point. It's expanding, and it's going to implode and collapse on itself like a dying star at some point. I think what DC is doing is they were clearly trying to chase Marvel with the DC Cinematic Universe. They were trying to rush it out, and it didn't yield the results they wanted.
Like Suicide Squad, Justice League, yeah.
Exactly. So I think Aquaman was probably the first movie to do it. Yes, there were still some comparisons in there, and I didn't like Aquaman, but that to me was
terrible.
That to me was the movie where they were going, you know what, let's try and distance ourselves as much as possible from this cinematic universe and just make a standalone story on the character. We saw that with Shazam. I absolutely love Shazam. It's probably one of my favorite movies from this year. This looks like it's shaping up to be another great, good standalone DC cinematic universe movie. It's not Jared Leto Joker. It's not tying into Suicide Squad. It's its own thing. Wonder Woman 1984, which is coming out, looks like it will probably again be a standalone Wonder Woman film and not bother so much connecting it back to the DC cinematic universe. And I think that's definitely the right way for DC to go, because I'm actually kind of wanting more standalone superhero movies where I haven't got to have watched about 20 movies beforehand in order for it to make sense. It'd be nice to just go and watch a new adaptation of the character. The one reservation I have, and this is very, very briefly before we round off, because I know we've been going for a while. Todd Phillips is the director of this film. Now, I had to check what films he's done before this point. He's most notable for directing the Hangover trilogy. He was the writer for Borat, although I think a lot of Borat was improvised. He directed Starsky and Hutch, which was the remake with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. Not the greatest track record of movies, in my opinion, anyway. See, I know a lot of people like the thing is, films.
You say that, but I this is the thing. I think the fact that the Hangover, the great thing about that was, you know, obviously they had a trilogy of movies, and when I watched it before, you know, the first one was great. I loved the first one. Okay, it was funny, it was amazing. The second one was like they've done the same thing in a different setting. It wasn't great. Third one, they did something a bit different, which I thought was good, because obviously it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like when you get a TV show where the pilot sounds amazing and then the rest they go off and you're like, well, we've come to kind of get everything we need from the pilot. Do you get what I'm saying? So we got that in the first movie. Second one, by that point, it was like, how many times can you do this? Third one, he changed it up. So the fact that that happened in that trilogy, it's kind of a good thing, because it's someone that realizes we can't just do the same thing constantly. Do you get what I'm saying? We can't just, you know, it's someone that if you'll get a universe of something like DC, they're going to realize we can't just continue to do the same thing. We can't just do this. We need something different, something people are going to actually want to watch again, if that makes sense. And also Borat, like it's something, as you say, improvised. It's something that's like, it's different. That's what I like. I think he's going to bring something to the table that makes it stand out, makes it different.
Yeah, I just hope my one hope for this movie after seeing this trailer is that I hope it isn't easy, like, you know, the mean TV presenter who talked down to him, who he's going to get his revenge on, and the girlfriend who falls out with him, and then he gets mad about that. You know what I mean? If you can take those concepts as long as they're written well. However, if they're written poorly, they could be very surface level and very easy.
This is the thing. Yeah. It's one of them that if, I don't think they will, but if they try and go kind of like Marvel way about it, in the sense of they try and do a safe option, they go, let's add humor in here, let's, you know, do the cliche thing, when let's do it well, it's not going to be good. If they go American Psycho way, where they go, let's go into his mind, let's go into this, something people haven't seen before, you know, if they do that,
funny, it's that humor, although it's shocking and horrific, it's still a very very funny movie.
Because it's the thing, it's like, for instance, like Suicide Squad was, the humor in it was kind of forced. It was, they tried to be Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? They tried to do this. Whereas what you want humor from, especially with a movie like this, with forced humor, you'll know it's forced. You'll know it's fake. You'll be like, okay, that's, you know what I mean? I get it. But what you want is it to flow naturally and to be kind of, that's kind of funny in a weird way. Or, you know what I mean? You want it to be something like that. You want it to be naturally funny. You want it to be something written that's come across as funny just because it is. Do you know what I mean? It's like that when you get a comedian, if they force his jokes out, you're like, I get it, you're trying too hard. You don't want it to do that.
Yeah.
It's a very, I'm very two ways about it, only because I think it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be something where you go, I can see you've just kind of tried to add that in there and you haven't done it well. Or it's going to be like, that was a masterpiece. I think it's going to be one or the other. It's not going to turn out as an average movie, I don't think. I think it'll turn out as one where I'll be like, you know what, that was actually phenomenal, or that was a waste of time. You know what I mean?
The biggest draw, without a doubt, for me in this is Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. It looks like physically, it looks like he's got all the mannerisms down, the body, like the way he carries himself. When he's, he's very withdrawn and he's very childlike when he's his normal self, and when he's Joker, he's dancing downstairs, he's throwing like these kind of poses, he's lapping up the attention that he's getting. I think that's a very interesting dynamic. Yeah,
he's got I think he's got a good blend of like a Heath Ledger realistic Joker and a Mark Hamill insane. He's got the good blend. If you would, like, for instance, Heath Ledger brought the kind of, crime boss in a way, like, you know what I mean, the guy that, like, he knew what he was doing, he was just causing crime, and he wore makeup and he was a bit mental, like, you know what I mean. Mark Hamill brings a unique sort of like crazy, like, what the hell is this guy? And Joaquin Phoenix has brought the best of both worlds, where it's like, this is real, but he's not real. Did you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah. To me, visually at least, he looks like a mashup between Heath Ledger's Joker and Cesar Romero's Joker from the 60s TV show. I think the costume is very bright. You've got all those iconic colors from him. It does look very Romero. I remember when the original concept came out, the original design for his face. I'm going to cut to a picture of it, actually. This is the theatrical poster coming out for Joker. And I don't know if you've seen this already, but tell me that you don't get Killing Joke vibes from this. I'm going to have to bring up the picture, though, because I clearly haven't planned ahead for this. Apologies for that, everyone watching. Here we go. So this is the theatrical poster for the Joker. That is chilling. I love that poster. It's very minimalistic, but that to me reminds me of the front cover of The Killing Joke, the plain black background, the white font, and his face close up. I think the one on The Killing Joke is the photo camera, though, isn't it? I think on the front of The Killing Joke graphic novel.
Yeah. It does. It gives me that vibe. It also gives me, again, the intro to Dark Knight. When they're wearing the mask, not when you actually see the Joker's face, but when they're wearing the mask to rob the bank and stuff. Like, it gives me that sort of vibe as well.
That's a great point. And I remember when that original design came out, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is going to be early Joker in the movie until he becomes the Joker that we know." As soon as I saw that picture and it got leaked and there was a set photo, I was like, no, that's going to be the look of the Joker they're going through all the way through the movie with. And I'm fine with it. It's different. I like it. You can still see that guy and know that it's Joker. He's got the green hair. He's got the purple suit. But I absolutely love the clown design on his face. And even if this is a transitionary Joker, I think that works because it's still tying him back to that stand-up comedy world, that very clown-like world that he wanted to go into, which he ultimately does, although maybe it wasn't the exact destination he was hoping for.
We just haven't seen how far this Joker will go. Like, we haven't seen if... obviously, I mean, like, getting the vibes from it and how dark... Like, when the movie's shot in quite a dark tone, obviously getting that, we know he's going to be quite, he's going to kill people, he's going to do that. But we haven't actually seen how far he'll go. It's not like in the trailer you think he's clearly killed that person or anything. It's a very... the whole thing is a mystery, which is, I think, another thing that's making it so good. The whole thing is a mystery, so I think the whole movie is going to be a mystery of what the hell's this guy going to do next.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm trying very, very quickly to scrub through the trailer and find my favorite shot from it. If I can find it. It's a very, very, very quick shot. If I can't find it, we're going to have to just move on.
The thing is, he's got a very... because obviously he's got the whole situation where his real persona and then he goes into the Joker persona. They've got, like, he's got two personalities, if it be. So I think you've never read the graphic novel Joker, have you?
No, I haven't. No.
No, basically the one that's like, I mean, without like spoiling anything that happens, it's a very, it's not, it's over the top, and it's a very kind of realistic sort of like, this guy's messed up, and there's things that happen that are literally like, you get things here and there, like Dark Knight Returns. Obviously, there's things implied where it's like, he could have raped this woman, he could have done this. It's implied because it's a comic book style thing, but the things in this, in like Joker, some things happen and it's not implied. You see, and it's very like, okay, this is, I mean, this is happening. I can see it. The Joker's clearly doing this, and I think the thing this guy brings is, I think he's got his real persona. When he turns the Joker, he's going to do similar things. Of he'll do it. You'll see it, and you go, okay, that guy's clearly like, this is not the nice. This is not a nice guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's like real life serial killers. Like,
it's got a dirty, gritty side to it.
If any of you have ever stopped up till like 3 or 4 in the morning, just mindlessly scrubbing through YouTube and watching serial killer documentaries or serial killer things like that, they're very, very warped, unique individuals psychologically. And I think if Joaquin Phoenix can bring that to the role, this could be the most chilling depiction of the Joker we've seen. Heath Ledger's was great, and don't get me wrong, like, still an absolute, walk away performance in that movie. But it's always nice to get a different take on the Joker and watch how they kind of snowball as the adaptations go on. I found the shot I wanted to bring up very, very quickly. I don't know if you guys can see that at home. I'm going to full screen it there. That was one of my favorite shots from the trailer. And I don't know why. I just absolutely love the colors going on there. It's kind of the colors of himself behind. You've got
who's he reminding me of there? Like,
you've got the very low blue lighting, which looks really cool. You've got the frame here with the lights on, which looks like he's just about to get ready to go on stage. And also, it's so weird seeing the Joker smoking, and just people smoking in general in movies now. It seems like something that's never done. This movie is rated R as well. We do need to say that as well. So hopefully they can push the boundaries a little bit more.
That's given me that's given me a Dark Knight Returns thing again, like a whole. Obviously, when he's very like, you've never watched the animation, have you?
But no, I haven't. No.
In the animation, he's got kind of a not camp voice, but he's got kind of like a, you know what I mean? He's a bit sort of like, he always says I think he says like darlings and stuff like that. He's got a very sort of like, he's sort of, you know what I mean, that kind of posher sort of thing. When he puts his lipstick on, he's like, oh, do you need lipstick? He's like, no, I brought my own. And he starts putting it on. He's got that very, and that's what that gives me again, that he's going to be a very sort of like, not full of himself. Do you get what I'm kind of?
Yeah, no, totally. Like narcissistic, egocentric kind of Joker. That's cool though, because clearly we're going to get those two sides. When he's his normal self, he's not going to have any of those things. When he puts on the makeup, maybe people love him. When he takes the makeup off, no one cares about him. So maybe you're going to have, putting on that makeup. I know that the Joker in the comic book tends to have the bleached skin from the, the acid bath that he falls into, but I don't know if they are eventually going to bring this Joker into the Batman trilogy that's planned. Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy with Robert Pattinson playing Bruce Wayne and Batman now.
Do you know what? I'm hoping they don't, only because I really hope we get a sort of second movie, like a kind of Jason Todd death sort of like, because they said it's going to be a noir. I hope you get some sort of thing like that with the actual Joker, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of hoping they don't, and I hope it stands alone, because if you try and incorporate into that, he has to be more Joker-like. In this, it can straight up be, there's this serial killer Joker, you know what I mean? I kind of hope they don't put it in there, but
I agree. I would like to see it stand alone. I do believe I heard that Thomas Wayne's going to be in this movie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's going to
as well. I can't remember.
Is it what? Sorry.
I think, isn't he supposed to know him as well? I can't remember what I read on it, but I think they're supposed to be friends of some sort, or like be on okay terms. I can't really remember.
I think so. I think I even heard at one point, I mean, all this footage might be cut now. I think I heard that a young Bruce Wayne's been cast as well, like a boy Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. If that is the case, then you're going to have that massive age difference between Batman and Joker if they were to ever age up in this universe. So that, to me, if they've got Thomas Wayne in there, at least it tells me that they are kind of teeing up this eventual rivalry that will last throughout the ages with Batman and the Joker. But whether they do integrate him, I think if this movie is massively successful, they will definitely consider putting him in the Batman trilogy.
I still don't think they should. I think it should be a standalone. This is the movie. That's all you get. Like, but
I agree. I
fantastic.
agree. And you're going to have the thing as well. I mean, you've got Todd Phillips directing this. He's got a very clear visual style for this one. When Matt Reeves directed the final two entries in the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy that came out, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes, a trilogy that I absolutely love, and I loved his vision for that. He really understood the characters. And from how he's been speaking about his Batman trilogy, it seems like he's completely on board with Batman and knows all of his stuff. And the kind of, he brings up the term noir. He really wants it to be like a crime noir, taking Batman to his detective roots. He is the world's greatest detective. That's how he wants to make it. Would his visual style marry up with the style from this film? Because if you were going to connect them, they'd have to have some kind of similar visual quality there. So I'm like you.
Style-wise, I think it looks so far. It looks like style-wise that could actually work. Now you've said that, like, because now you've put that thought into my head. Style-wise, it looks like it could be a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll have to find out. I think if this movie is really successful and makes a lot of money, they'll consider it to bring more people in. But Joaquin Phoenix as well, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who does a lot of sequels. I'm even trying to think of a sequel that he was in. He seems to pick his projects very well. I thought he was fantastic in Gladiator as Commodus. Her is one of my favorite movies. I thought he was great in that. That was a good character study as well on relationships and everything like that, and the character that Joaquin Phoenix played himself. I won't say that I'm jumping out of my chair ecstatic for this movie, but it's definitely the most intriguing movie of this year. And I agree with you. It could go either way. Could be awesome. Yeah. Could be absolutely game-changing for the character of the Joker that we've seen in the live-action depictions. A lot of people in their head still have Heath Ledger as their favorite and the one that they remember the most, even, over 10 years on. This could be that next step. This could be that next depiction.
See, I think I love the Heath Ledger one, but I do think when everyone says it's their favorite, I'm just like, yeah, but have you seen the other Jokers? I don't know. Like, I love the Heath Ledger one, but to me, like, it's just, there's so many. I don't know. I don't want to badmouth it and say, but to me, it's like, it's great, it's amazing, but it's better. Like, You know what I mean? But to me, I guess the Joker is the whole, like, the Mark Hamill, like, obviously animated series, but the Arkham series where it went that step further and it was more adult and it was more like, you've got everything, and to me that's what it is. And there's but to be fair, I think this Joker has a bit of a when you listen to like the Arkham tapes in, like, I always go back to that series because I love that series, but of the Riddler, how when you go to the Arkham tapes, and I get a vibe of that, like he could be, because the Joker's always been clever. The Joker's always been a clever guy. Like, when you think about it, some of the stuff he does, it seems random, but it's really not. Like, he does stuff and he knows what he's doing. He's not as random as he's naturally portrayed. And I think he's going to get a bit of Riddler vibes here and there, where he will say stuff and you're like, he's ridiculously clever, but he's going off on a tangent that no one knows about. But in his mind, he's like figuring out the universe. You know what I mean? Like, I think I get those kind of vibes where he's going to be this ridiculously clever guy. He's insane, but he's always like one step ahead of, like 5 steps ahead of everyone. You know what I mean?
It's going to be very interesting though to see, and I guess you could we did see Batman and the Joker kind of together a little bit in Suicide Squad. It's going to be strange seeing the Joker on his own, standalone. Like every other time that we've seen the Joker, I know that you have sort of Joker-centric stories like The Killing Joke, but the point is that Batman is in there and they always have that dynamic. How is this going to go without that character dynamic?
Who's going to be his rival in this?
I guess, if they are going to make that, Robert De Niro's character, he is second build. It's a very small cast, actually. It looks like a very low-key movie, which I absolutely I absolutely love. It's done on a $55 million budget, which is, in movie terms, is barely anything. Nowadays, if it's not over 100 mil, it's considered low budget. So either he's going to be the villain, it's going to be society who's the villain. We're going to have pity for Joaquin Phoenix's character. We're going to fear him, we're going to hate him, but we might also love him at the same time. I don't know. With these villain standalone movies, I guess the one from recent memory is Venom, which was atrocious. I absolutely hated Venom. I know that it has its fans. I know that it has its fan base. I didn't like Venom at all.
I've literally never seen it, just on the basis that you've said it's that bad.
Yeah. But
and it's Marvel, that as well.
When you make a villain, your protagonist in a way. When you make your antagonist your protagonist for a movie, you can't make them all out bad. You have to have something there that makes the audience like them in some way, because they are going to be the main character throughout the movie. They could be absolute despicable human beings, like look at American Psycho, for example. But there's a quality there to Patrick Bateman. You either, you know, you hate him, but you love him at the same time, or you find him funny, or you find the performance engaging in some way that keeps you
That's
tethered
the
there.
thing. Yeah.
And
The thing is, there was nothing that drew me to liking him. What drew me to him was, I want to understand what's going through this guy's head. I need to watch this again because I need to actually understand that. And that's what I'm hoping from this. And it was because when you think about American Psycho, as much as it's a great film, when you think about it, there was like, because you get a cliche, you know, thing in movies where there's the exciting part, there's this big thing that happens. In American Psycho, there isn't. When you think about it, there's no big, like, oh, that's this amazing thing. Like, if you were to ask me what's the biggest, like, oh, that's the highlight, the biggest bit, it's like, well, none. It's the whole thing is understanding and being like, what the hell was going on? And I'm hoping that's what happens to this one way, because when American Psycho finished, at the same time as in sort of what's going on, when it finished, I was there like, is this the end? If it was to go on for another hour, I wouldn't actually be surprised. Like, you know what I mean? It was a whole sort of, it didn't have the cliche formula, and I'm hoping that's what happens in this as well, where you're like, gonna watch that again because I didn't really get it. Like, you know what I mean? That sort of thing going on as well.
Yeah. Well, we're 2 months away from this movie. Not all long to go at all. We've had one trailer before this. We've had some, you know, like teaser footage and everything like that. This is our final trailer, final glimpse. I think they're keeping a lot close to the chest. There was a lot of repetitive footage in this trailer. We saw more of the TV show stuff, but inherently the set pieces that we're seeing the train, we're seeing them smack that sign in his face when he's dressed as the clown and doing the kind of advertisement thing. They are kind of showing us a lot of the similar things. So I do think they're keeping a lot of the character stuff and a lot of what goes down in this movie close to the chest. I'll be at this in day one. I think it's a very smart month for them to bring it out in October. You kind of got, Halloween month, mostly filled with horror films and things like that. This is kicking off the month of October, and I can't wait for this movie. We've talked for almost 40 minutes on this trailer, so I guess this is it's a live reaction and a discussion as well. Thank you very much, Dale, for jumping on with me today and talking about this, because Lord knows if we hadn't have done it on a live stream, we'd have just done it tomorrow anyway after we'd both seen the trailer.
Yeah, that happens regardless. Even if we're meant to be talking about something else, that just happens. For some reason, I've realized this. I said this to someone the other day. I was just like, we'll talk about something, and then we end up talking about Batman for like 2 hours. And I was like, that's what happens. It always goes to that.
And it's a fine way to spend 2 hours, definitely. Yeah. And thank you to everyone in the comments who's tuned in at any point, who's liked the video, who's subscribed, or who's just commented all the way through. Brinsley, you're awesome. JX Editor as well joined us at the beginning. Very, very quickly to tune out, if you are just discovering this, please do let us know what you think of this format for reaction videos. This is a very different setup to what I used to do for my reaction videos, and it's a lot more timely and can just get my immediate thoughts out there so we can get more reaction videos out to you guys. If you did like this or you didn't like this, please leave a comment on this video, or if you'd like to go to any of our social media links, you can find us on Facebook at /CinemaSavvy, on Twitter at cinema_savvy, and on Instagram at cinema_savvy as well. We're going to be bringing you lots more content, more movie reviews, more trailer reaction videos, and everything in between. We're getting back on track with the channel now and getting more of a regular structure in place. So it's exciting. Dale looks like he has something else to say.
Yeah. Have you done a reaction to Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Like a review?
Yeah, we have done a review for that.
Good, and I need to see that because I haven't seen it
yet. It's a very, very good movie. Go and check out the review. It's spoiler free. I will big up as well before we tune out. This upcoming Saturday, we're doing a retrospective on all of Tarantino's filmography, all the way from Reservoir Dogs up to his latest one of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's going to be a great environment if you're a Tarantino fan, if you just want to shoot the shit for a couple of hours, just talking about Tarantino, all of his films and his career, and everything in between. It'll be a great place to do that. Look out for times on our social media links. Yeah, that will do it. So thank you everyone who tuned into the video, and until the next reaction video or the next review or whatever it happens to be, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Yeah, keep waving at the camera.